I'm Colton Sutley with my co-host Tim Friedhaber, and you're listening to the Caution Free Podcast. Today we have Joe Baggott of Angry Duck Media on. Uh, Joe, just to start out, how did you get involved in racing?
I guess it started about when I was, well, I guess 2 weeks old, going to Manzanita Speedway. Grew up going to the dirt track there. Then cousins started racing the quarter midgets. Then I started racing quarter midgets, micros, outlaw carts from Arizona. Then moved out here. And couldn't find any of that up here, so uh, picked up a baseball bat and then played some baseball, and then picked up the camera last year just to get back into racing.
So here is Ohio for you, just so people that don't might not know that. So like there wasn't like any like micro racing or go-kart racing that you thought of maybe getting into when you moved to Ohio?
So when I moved up here, I used to race 600s, and there's no one running 600s within a 2 hour radius of my house. And there wasn't anything before that. So dabbled in a little bit of mod lights, didn't really like it. Did one kind of year of 305s, and that kind of fell through and kind of ran out of money, and just kind of like a lot of people just miss out on opportunities because of financial reasons.
Yeah, I can understand that. My dad raced pro stocks and stuff, and for a handful of years when I was younger and stuff, and it's a money eater. It's if you have a choice between drugs and racing, well, racing's better for your health, but maybe not for the pocketbook.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
where you were going with that.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either, so but
Um, so for the people that don't know, you're part of Angry Duck Media. I guess we talked about it before, and it's
Yeah.
a partnership. So could you just talk a little bit about what that is and what you do for it?
So it's a partnership between me. Formerly, I was Dirt Baggott Media. Some Western PA guys, a lot of know me from that. Partnered up with Kurt at PPMS this year at the beginning of the season. Met him, and he liked what I was doing on the media side and wanted to see if we could combine my media stuff with his graphics company. And so it would be Angry Ducks Graphics or Shop Angry Duck. We kind of formed a partnership and started growing there, and started growing back eventually slowly. It's taken a little bit to get to the level I was by myself, but it's allowed to free me up to travel a little bit more and go to Attica, Fremont quite a bit, and travel. Like I went to Lincoln beginning of the year, and probably do a little bit of Indiana stuff.
Nice. So is it your part-time job, full-time
Uh,
job?
it's currently my full time job.
Okay.
Uh, I don't make a whole lot of money at it, if any, so gotta find a job again. But uh, lost my job right before Speed Week, and I was like, you know what, this is a sign. Let's try and go full time with it. Did all 9 nights of Speed Week in a tent, and finally happy to be back home and still slowly getting that content out. I mean, there's I don't know, months worth of footage and photos to go through.
Yeah.
you did Western PA Sprint Speed Week as well.
I did do that one as well. That was an awesome one. Working with Tyler, he's an awesome promoter and a real guy that just loves the sport. Hopefully, I can convince him to do it again this year or next year.
Yeah, he really brought back that Speed Week back from the dead. I didn't even know it was a thing until he brought it back.
Yeah, I didn't really know about it either. I knew about it last year, and I missed out on doing it last year, and I was like, I'm not going to miss it this year. And then doing some research for that video I did for him, found out that there was some long history with the All Stars with it, and then it died. And then I'm glad to see it come back, and multiple nights of 50 plus car fields. It's amazing to see that. I'm to say, especially this Western PA area, you don't really get a whole lot of that, and the competition sometimes you do get it's a little bit on the lower scale, but to see 50 cars and 20 cars that can win is just awesome.
Um, so where are you located at in Ohio?
So I'm right now at a Youngstown, so
Okay.
kind of centrally located. Not really, but centrally located to between Western PA and like say Attica and Fremont area.
Okay. I wasn't sure. And just like listening to you talk, you seemed like you were like closer to Western PA. I originally thought you were
Yeah,
closer to Attica and Fremont and stuff, but you're right around where Jim Ballantyne is
yeah.
from.
He's like, I think I talked to him a couple weeks ago. He's like 5 minutes from my house. I had no idea.
So I guess you do mainly like video stuff. I saw on your Instagram you're doing a thing. It's like, hey, I'll do this like 5 second promo video for you. Um,
Yeah, so we do a lot right now. It's like our big thing is we have tons of packages, and I think they're reasonably priced. Sometimes some drivers think it's a little bit much, but considering my cost to get to get to the track, it's the least amount I can continue to keep doing it. But we have 30 seconds to a minute TikTok videos are big. TikTok or social media style video, that's like our big seller. We also sell just raw clips. That way some people like to put their own stuff together, so we made that available. We have interview options, full YouTube length videos, so like a Tanner Holmes or a Team Ez video. We have that as an option too. Then we got photo packages. We don't do a whole lot of photo, but I have the ability to do it. And if somebody wants it, it's no problem. I'll absolutely do it. But we set ourselves apart by doing the video because there's not a whole lot of people that do it in its entirety, especially in Ohio and Western PA.
Yeah, did see the other day you did post on the Instagram account. I think it was also on Facebook.
Yeah, I posted on
The
everywhere.
the pictures. I know one was of TJ Michael
Yeah.
when he was sitting in the uh, car and stuff, and they were amazing photos. And I've seen your videos, and I try to share everything as much as I can,
Well, I
but
appreciate that. It does mean a lot. I did literally just posted one, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, or right before we hopped on the podcast. It's a pretty cool one of Waynesfield that if you guys
uh,
haven't check out on yet, check out Angry Duck Media. It's pretty cool.
I did see that pop up and it was really cool. I forgot about it, but I did want to ask you where that was because just seeing them come off the turn in and you can see like the farm in the background and that was really cool.
So that's the entry into one at Waynesfield, where the grandstands ends. The fence also ends right there, and then you can stand pretty much around that whole corner. Probably wouldn't stand around the whole corner, but right where we are, it's a nice safe area, and you can really get them kind of squatting, or if there's that big hole like there was, really bouncing. Like I was getting them really bounce out of that corner.
So when you go to a track or especially a track you've never been to, what goes through your mind of where you should be to get what you want video wise?
I approach it quite a bit like a driver would going to the track for the first time. I try to do if I get there early enough, I do a track walk. I'll walk the track, kind of walk the facility and see what it looks good. So having experience I have now, I kind of know what the car is going to do at certain points of the track. And then sometimes I'll watch um like film just to kind of see. But so like I know sprint cars are going to squat on the entry to corners. So trying to catch that, or I know this track usually has a hole right here, so standing in a place where I can catch them in that hole, or if the track's super tacky, I know they're going to do a wheelie out of the corner. So just kind of pre-gaming what is going to happen and look at the surface because that dictates a lot of stuff.
So, what does your setup look like right now when you go to the track, camera wise, lens
Uh
wise, if
right
you want to
now,
share? Yeah.
yeah, I'll share. It's what I'm using right now for the webcam. It's a Sony A7 III. It's kind of old, probably need to upgrade soon, but that with my kit lens, 24 to 70, my CG Master, 24 to 70 to 200, 2.8. I just got a 200 to 500. That'll help me reach out a little bit longer on some unique angles. And then just got a bunch of random little lenses. I got a rig, obviously. So I got monitor, handles, uh, stuff like that. It's pretty much about it.
So
And
then
then
go ahead.
sometimes I have, it's actually my dad's, but I use it. Sometimes I have a Canon 70D that I throw 24, 200 to 70, 200 to 700. And I sometimes been shooting photos with that lately because I've had some problems with my camera.
So
Yeah.
what do you use like post-production wise?
Um, well, I don't want to give out my whole secrets, but
No, just like software wise.
I use Lightroom
Okay.
and for my photos, and sometimes I use Premiere Pro, but a lot of the stuff it's people want it super quickly. So I
Mhm.
use a lot of times Premiere Rush. It's it's also hard to use, but once you get good at it, like I've been using it for a while, and it does pretty good as people enjoy what I do.
I also use Adobe for basically everything, school wise and racing wise, and this podcast. I just wondered if you heard about their new user agreement that came out like a week ago.
I have not. What
Oh,
is
okay.
if you could give me a little briefing on that real
Yeah,
quick.
so basically Adobe came out and said we're trying to up our AI capabilities, and therefore starting at whatever date it was, I think it's coming up in July or August, they will now own the rights to all content produced in their entire suite, meaning that you
Oh,
would no longer own your own videos or photos.
oh, I might have to look into switching then.
Yeah,
it's it's pretty much my livelihood if you oof.
yeah. But just wanted to get you informed on that.
Yeah, that's good to know. I kind of always skip that or just hit agree, but now I
Yeah,
have
it's
to do
kind of
some more
crazy.
research.
Oh, but on a more positive note. So, when you film raw content at the track, do you adjust for like light levels? I obviously
Oh,
adjust for light
oh,
levels, but let's talk
yeah.
about that a little bit.
Oh man, that's sometimes that is a struggle and a half. Some places it's okay. Some places it's a brutal place. What what the biggest struggle for me is as the sun goes down, you can adjust, and that's fine. Um, Hard to adjust for when a cloud gets in front of the sun. That's brutal because it may only last a few minutes to 10 minutes or even 30 seconds. So getting that setting right in the middle, like say like a heat race, and the cloud comes in front of the sun, man, it's having to adjust your ISO, your I don't adjust my shutter speed when I'm shooting video, but adjusting ISO, my ND filter is the variable one, and then aperture. So
Yeah.
that's I mean, you could be doing 30 changes in 10 seconds. It's crazy. And then whether the track has good lighting, that's a that's can be brutal at some of these tracks. Luckily my new favorite track now is Millstream because they just put I don't know how many thousands of dollars worth of brand new LED lights in it, and it is beautiful to shoot. So that's my new favorite track. Um, yeah, it's and then another really hard issue that no one really kind of gets is if it how the track is oriented. It could be a shadow in turn one and blinding sun in turn two.
Yep.
So trying to compensate for that is just it's not possible sometimes.
So other variables like say like dust and rocks. How do you how do you shoot through that? Because
That
we were filming at Tri-City and we were just getting blasted by dust and rocks. And it was like cars would go by, I would see him for a second, and then it would be this cloud of dust, and then you could see him drive off in the distance.
See, I didn't get
yeah
hit by any rocks. They were
Uh,
just they were hitting Tim and then the like the murals and stuff behind us, and I was like untouched somehow.
Uh, it's pretty beautiful, and I have a funny story about the rocks that I'll get to at the after the dust. Dust, it's part of the sport, and sometimes I've been to a few shows, and I'm not going to say places, but that have been so brutal that I just stopped filming. That I was like, this night is just a wash. I'm not gonna be able to. You can get the first maybe 2 laps of a heat race or the feature, and then that's it because it's so much dust. So when I have clients for that night, I'll just be like, hey, I can't do it tonight. This track's just not working. And usually they understand. But the rocks is a funny story. I was at Wayne County, and where I stand at Wayne County for hot laps and qualifying is right there out of the turn, right at the exit of 4. And I stand there a ton last year, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wear a helmet this time. So I went into the pits and asked a ton of the drivers. I was like, hey, do you guys have a spare helmet? And luckily, shout out to Lake Wagner, he let me wear a spare helmet. And I was just getting drilled in the like the helmet with rocks and dirt, and I was ripping tear offs as the cars were going by. I was filming the cars. I was ripping tear offs. It was pretty cool. I wish I would have had that last week because I got hit in the head with a rock about that big, standing at the exact same spot. But it's the inside of the track's pretty good, but that outside, if you stand where the cool shots are, you stand
Yeah.
outside the track and it is brutal.
Yeah, a couple in 2021, I went to Lou Blaney Memorial at Sharon, and I've told this story so many times to Tim that he already knows it. But I had my hands in my pocket, and I got hit by a rock, probably like that big, and my hand, one hand, and I'm like, oh, a couple more inches, I would have been down for the count and
I've,
stuff.
I've definitely been there. I got hit with a rock off a Jade Avidity's Midget Atomic and got hit right in the nether regions with the rock off her car, and it hurt. It dropped me pretty good for a
I
while.
I do remember you mentioning that
Uh,
Sharon for the Speed Week show, and
yeah,
I got
it's it's just part of what we do, really. You got to work and take a couple rocks to get the shot, but it's worth it when you see the end of product.
Yeah,
yeah.
we were standing like at Tri-City. Have you been there?
I was there for the Rain Out Western PA show, but I've not seen
Okay.
cars on the track.
Okay. So in the pit area, you can stand behind the fence, and
Mhm.
that's like where the best shots are, in my opinion, because you can see him coming around
3 and 4.
yeah, into obviously the straightaway. But
Mhm.
we were filming on the front stretch first off, and it was like great, pretty good shots. And then we decided to move to the back, and it was like after the sprint feature, we went over and talked to Colton's cousin, and our faces were just like black. And his pit guy was like, "What'd you guys do? Like fall in the mud or something?" And it was it's like raccoon eyes and everything, but hey, we got good shots out of it. So
That's nothing compared to how I looked after that Sharon Speed Week race.
That was
And the Ohio Speed Week race. I was standing down into the entry of turn 3, right
yeah,
behind
yeah,
the caution light.
yeah.
And like I was just standing there, and I took my hat off and my sunglasses up, and I was like, holy crap, I'm just like raccoon eyes so bad. And but I thought I got some for using my iPhone through the fence. I thought I got some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I remember helping you with that and
Yeah.
she kind of showing you that spot. It's bad. From now on, I carry a pack of some kind of either they're tub of towels or like some dude wipes that I can wipe my face off during the show. But the worst is dirt getting down into your shirt and making your way down into your pants. That is, when you use the restroom later, you're like, how did all these rocks get in my pants? But
oh man.
It's like
So go ahead, Colton.
I was gonna say it's like sand when you go to the beach.
it just gets everywhere. It's some tracks again like are better than others. Some tracks the clay kind of holds together a little bit. Some tracks it's pretty much powder like Sharon is. It just car goes by and it just blows off powder, and that's when it really gets everywhere.
You know, I've sat in so many different spots at Tri-City, and it's like the dust will get you no matter where you are. But that
Oh, for
spot we were
sure.
in last time, I think I was cleaning dust out of my ear for like 2 days. Like it
Oh,
was just
100%.
baked in every crease in my ear, and I was like,
Yeah.
man,
I
how
started wearing
dust.
earplugs lately because I've started to realize I've lost my some of my hearing, and that helps quite a bit. But when you pull the earplug out and you just like see the dirt fall out of your ears, it's bad.
Yeah, I had after sharing, I had like dirt like just caked in the like hole in my ear and stuff, and I was like, oh, like, and then like the whole like for like the next like 3 or 4 days, I like felt it like on my face and stuff, and like even though I like cleaned my face like multiple times, but I still just had that dirty feeling on my face.
Oh yeah, that never goes away. Like I did 9/9 speed week, and man, that was bad. It's
Yeah,
just like I got home and I don't know, took three showers in one day, and I'm like, I'm still not clean.
yeah. They Ohio tracks forgetting what a water truck is probably
Yeah,
didn't help.
I
yeah.
don't I don't know
Not
if
all of them know what that is,
PA
Yeah,
tracks are not much better right now.
yeah,
especially for
Western
we
PA.
APA. Yeah,
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 they're basically Ohio. We just count them
yeah,
as Ohio
yeah.
because
Well,
the Central PA guys, though, they don't believe they exist.
yeah,
yeah.
that is true.
Yeah, we're not a posse out here, but we're also
No,
not Ohio, so it's kind of like the
yeah,
redheaded stepchild.
it really is. I mean, we could go hours into that, but there's definitely levels that I've noticed in regions.
So do you have a hat that you wear to the track every day that's just
It's this one actually, and it is. I mean, if you look, you can see, man,
yep,
it's was
Yeah,
gray and now it's brown.
that's I had this great hat. It was just like, I mean, it's kind of gross. It was coated in dirt. It was a hunt the front hat. I used to wear it all the time, and then my dog ate the back of the adjustment piece off, and I was like,
Oh,
well, crap, can't wear this anymore.
yeah.
Um, so you are Ohio based.
Yes.
What are like, I mean, what are your goals for this year? And then what are some big goals in the future? Like tracks you want to get to, drivers you want to film.
I'd love to work with. I think working with Sheldon Hodge would be really cool. Probably doing a lot of stuff with outlaw drivers and high limit drivers. Now high limit drivers. I think that'd be cool. Maybe working some stuff for NOS. Kind of staying on the more freelance side, but getting those higher opportunities with bigger people. My big goal, my first goal is to get media credentials because that is a struggle that I am continuing to fight. I worked with the ASCS series, and that couldn't even get me media credentials to Attica and Fremont. So it's very frustrating because some tracks see the potential in what I do and what this younger generation of people are doing to help the sport. And some tracks are they are fighting it tooth and nail. And I think that's going to be the death of them. I honestly do. Because if you
um,
don't evolve, you will regress. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Sharon, that they're Tim and I both got press passes from them. I emailed the Dave Willoughby about getting them, like I said, like before the season started, and I was like, we don't like have like a media credentials through a company or anything. Like, kind of told him what we kind of had in mind to do, and he said, and I know they have a form to fill out, so I said, and it like said about filling out the form if we had to, and he said, yeah, fill out the form and stuff, and then like a couple weeks later, maybe even close to a month. I'm not sure exactly on the timeline now, but we ended up getting the passes in the mail, and then I know Tri-City Raceway Park. It's probably best. I'd have to try to find a number for you to call, but I know
Yeah, that'd be great.
we're on the list there, and it took a long time because when they got new owners, they didn't get
Yeah,
the whole Facebook accounts completely switched over or something. So I had messaged one, must have been the old owners, and emailed the old email the like our forums, but then the new owners had no idea about it until like a couple days before the first race, and I got a call from Randy Lamb to set it
Okay.
up. So if I think I still have his number in my phone, so I know he's been real big with helping the new owners out and stuff. So I'll have to give him your number or give you his number so you can contact him.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I should probably try again, but I sent a bunch of emails at the beginning of the year and got nowhere with any of them. And it's really frustrating because I mean that's $35 every night. I
Yeah.
mean that's a lot of money. And it's not that I won't do it. Like I would love to work with a lot of these tracks because I know what I do and I know how it can promote. Just it's honestly almost free promotion or very little cost to promote what you'll get. I think so. We'll see how that.
So Angry Duck Media uh doesn't count for like media credentials. They don't.
Well, apparently not. A lot of
That's
tracks think that like I'm a photographer, so I ran into a lot of issues last year where like they're like, "Oh, you're photography, but we have a track photographer. We don't want you to step on our track photography's toes." And I'm like, I don't, I don't shoot photos compared to a track photographer. And if your track photographer, if drivers say want my photos of your track photographers, that's not my fault. I would say,
yeah.
you know, it's a lot of these track photographers are older and they have an old style, and that's not what a lot of these younger drivers want. They want that let's say what I do, the blurry background or the panning shots at low shutter speed, what makes everything real streaky, and they like that kind of stuff, not uh basically shots where you can read the word Hoosier on the tire. You shoot the
Yeah.
sun at the car and the car's all bright and it looks I think it looks horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw, or
uh,
uh, I was gonna say I saw actually just yesterday, Scott Goodman, his one Facebook post about how certain track only wants their track photographer at they're only having one race this year, and they just want their track photographer to do it. They don't want like him stepping on his toes or like stealing business from him. And it
Yeah.
became like a big Facebook thing, and it just
Yeah.
I don't get it
Yeah,
because
I had that issue at Sharon last year that I was talking literally had a conversation with the general manager and he goes, "Well, I don't want you to take business away from our tracker photographer." And I'm like, like I'm not trying to take away from him, but we do completely different things.
mm-hmm.
Even if we go to the photo side, like we're completely different styles. We're not competing.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe if I got hired to do more stuff like that, I think would help tracks see the value in certain things. Like a lot of tracks aren't on social media. The ones that do see success. I'm not saying that's like why they see success, but they're evolving and they understand the value of what they're doing and how just an Instagram page will bring 100 followers, which will bring 2 or 3 people into the stands, and it's free.
Yeah.
It's free publicity.
Yeah, we got on Eric from Lernerville, Tyler from PPMS, and then we talked to the track announcer at Tri-City when we were there last Sunday. And I think getting to those guys before maybe you get to the general managers, the track owners helps a lot because they can be like, I feel like those guys are the ones to be like, these kids are young. They can definitely help your business out without you even paying for any of it. Like
Yeah.
all they have to do is give us media credentials and it's basically free money for them at that point.
And what I think hurts me quite a bit is the fact that I work for drivers or that I mainly work for drivers, but they're the ones that are willing to pay for what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have to work for a driver. They gave me their $50 so I can pay the pit pass to get in that night.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to pay that pit pass, I'd be able to do more.
Yeah.
It really opened me up. It's a struggle, and the big one is Eldora. They they do let people in that have social media following, but you have to be like 7,000 plus, and there's not a whole lot of people that are that
Yeah.
big. Even some of the bigger guys aren't that, and it's a struggle. But I understand it. You can't have every guy in the infield with a camera, Joe Schmo with a camera. But
Yeah.
and there's tracks I go to and I'm like, you shouldn't be in here. Like I know everyone's got to start somewhere, but sometimes there's like you're just a dude with an iPhone and a vest. So it's like I get it. Everyone has to start there. It's how I started. But you got to realize that there's professionals and then there's you. And you kind of got to let the professionals do what they do because that's what they do for like me for a living. It's what I do.
Yeah.
That's why when with me and Tim, with us doing it on our iPhones, what we've been trying to do, I stay on the outside of the fence. I don't go in the infield. I know a couple times you asked me if I was going into the infield at Sharon and a few other photographers, and I'm like, no, I just have my iPhone. I don't. I'm like I just it doesn't make sense for me for myself to go into the infield with an iPhone, and it just doesn't make sense. And I
Yeah.
like,
Well, and we've talked
yeah,
outside of this, and I've been helping you trying to figure out what kind of cameras you guys want, and it's it's not cheap. And I don't think everyone should do it. I honestly don't because one, that's it creates competition for myself. Like helping you guys out does create competition for myself, but I understand what you guys are doing, and I want to help
Hmm.
grow you guys. So it's one of those kind of balancing acts. Um, I think some of these older people kind of, I would say step aside, but honestly, step aside and let the new generation come in. I think that would open it up because I know a lot of tracks were like, well, we only have 4 media credential spots, but the 4 of them are taken up by old people that stand in one specific spot for all 30 shows of that year. It's like it's
Yeah.
time to you know not give way, but step aside and at least see what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
yeah,
agree. I haven't been to I've been to one race this year. I can't even lie. I don't live at home anymore, so it's hard for me to get to a lot of the Western PA races. I mean, I could go to races in West Virginia, but there's about one race that I'm within an hour of, and everything else is like an hour and a half to 2 hours to
Yeah.
3 hours. And at that point, it's kind of like, why would I go? But
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's all right. But what you guys are doing with this podcast is really there's a lot of podcasts out there. It's everything's just such a saturated market compared to what it was 5 years ago. But there's not a whole lot of people doing the Western PA.
Hmm.
So I think that's awesome. That's really different and new, and it's allowing these smaller guys like Jeremy Weaver, Logan McCandless. I saw you guys had like Brandon Spithaler on, and that's giving them a platform to show what they are because without that, they need that. You got the Central PA guys; they get a ton of attention. The Ohio guys right now are getting more attention, especially that Central Ohio guys are getting more attention. And Indiana's just the mecca for racing, so they're getting a ton of attention. But these Western PA guys, like you said, are the forgotten child, and I think that's something that needs to change. And even the tracks are forgotten, and it's not fair because I think certain tracks have great facilities, like Sharon and Lernerville have amazing facilities,
Hmm.
and they don't get the recognition I think they deserve.
Yeah.
yeah. I think they're both top 10 tracks in the country,
I'd say
and
they're top 7 facilities. Lernerville has a great track, so I'd say yeah, Lernerville is probably a top 10 track, but if Sharon got their surface fixed
Yeah.
and they, gave way to the Blaney's and saying that we want it dry slick and be like actually getting it a little bit tackier, that would be, oh my God, the racing there would be so much better like it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like you were saying, there um so much rich history in this region, and
Oh
the
yeah.
like the first All-Star champion back in 1970, Ralph Corderson, was from like Mercer. He like was called a Master of Mercer,
Uh-huh.
and that just as good as Lou Blaney, and you can see the disrespect for this area because he should be in the Hall of Fame, but is not in the
Mhm.
National Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
And I mean, Sharon is 90 plus years old. It's one of the oldest racetracks in the country, but why doesn't it get talked about?
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah. Well, it also I guess this the whole high limit World Outlaws thing now too isn't helping Sharon. Like I thought it would when it first came out. Now it's like, oh, we're gonna have this giant war of we can't have high limit races at World of Outlaw tracks now and vice versa. And it's like I think high limit has helped the sport a lot, but in that case, I don't
It,
know.
it it's helped that it's hurt. It's definitely brought money up, and at the beginning, I think it's helped the sport just with money financially. It's definitely helped. However, I think what it did to like the Western PA region, the Ohio region is detrimental, and that's why you won't see a lot of high limit races in Ohio for a while because what they did with a Ohio Speed Week, the All Stars. I mean, there's 10 teams that relied that ran that All Star schedule, like Lane Racing and the Vermeer 55. They relied on that series because they're that middle team that they're higher than the local level, but they're not outlaw level. They're not high limit level. They're right there in that middle,
Hmm.
and that's what that All Star brought was that middle level that drivers could use to step up. Now it's gone,
Yeah.
and I think that mixed with how much money the All Star name brought to these tracks, like when All Stars went to Attica or All Stars went to Sharon, it brought money for the track because you got more people to show up. You got more drivers to show up. And then the higher purse brought more money into the drivers' pocketbooks. Like if you talk to say AJ Flick, right? Like those shows makes his schedule.
Yeah.
Respect, yeah, they can make some drivers again like AJ, he can make it because he wins a lot. But say Jeremy Weaver, he doesn't win a whole lot, but that that 24th starting money is better than say 15th on a leap weekly night. So
Hmm.
they rely on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we actually when we had Jeremy on, he talked a lot about high limit now, and it's like in the B main, it's like almost pointless for those guys to even run high limit shows because the purse in like the B main and even to start is like kind of terrible for high limit now compared to what it used to be for the All Stars and even World of Outlaws. He said
Yeah.
it's like 250 to 500 more just to start the show for World of Outlaws than it is
Yeah.
for high limit.
Yeah, I had to pull up the money, but I mean it is I think it's actually better to start a high limit show than a all-star show, but
Yeah,
it's
I was
it's
saying
it's
I think
it's more money to run a high limit show than an
yeah.
all-star show, right? If you want to be if you know that you're starting 24th in the A main of a high limit show, you're gonna throw a brand new right rear and a brand new left rear on,
Yeah.
or stuff like that. Where all stars, you didn't have to do that one because you were on a spec tire, whatever tire you qualified in, you had to run your heat race and you had to race on. I
Yeah.
don't know if high limit does that thing or not, same thing or not, but most of the teams throwing brand new tires on.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's It's a $350 for a rad rear and $300 for a left rear. That's $650. If you
Yep.
only make 500 to start, you're still out $600 because you had to throw brand new tires on to start the night.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I wasn't saying that the All Stars paid more. I was saying World of Outlaws does pay more than
They
High
do,
Limit to
yeah.
start. But like the problem with High Limit specifically is I forget how many high rollers they have. It's like 15 or something, isn't it?
17. I was
Yeah,
16,
17.
17.
It started with I think 17. I think they're
And
down to like
yeah,
15 now with a couple dropping off. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's 15. And then you get the guys that join the back of the field because they have whatever that thing is. I forget what the ticket is basically that some of the high rollers, if they suck
Oh,
and
provisional.
a
yeah,
provisional, yeah.
can join the back of the field. But it's like after that, you basically have
9
some,
spots.
yeah, 8 to 9 spots that local drivers can get in. And it's like, what's the point in even racing if you know you're not going to make the A main? Because then it's
But
like you go out, you either junk your car in the B main trying to pass cars to get into the A main, or you just don't make enough money in it to lose.
Yeah. That is a good question. I can't really answer that one, not being a driver, but I definitely understand your point. But like I know when it rolls around that to when the Outlaws go to Sharon, it's some people have good nights, some people don't, and it sucks to see. I always want more locals in
Hmm.
than not, but I think it was Attica, I think, that there was in how many drivers are in a dash? Top
uh, eight,
Yeah,
eight
eight,
or 10.
eight to
I
eight
10.
or
think yeah, 8 or 10. It depends on how many heats.
that six of them were local drivers. Like that's
Yeah,
sometimes, man, these
Yeah.
locals have a night. Sometimes they don't. And it depends on the track, really. Like if it's super tacky around Lernerville, them higher budget motors are going to be better. But on a slicked off track like Sharon, AJ Fleet could qualify fifth. Like,
Yeah. We saw it a couple years ago, Silent at Lernerville Outlaw Show for the Silver Cup. Uh, he qualified fast time or quick time, won his heat, won the dash, led like almost half the feature, and then something like broke on the car where he ended up finishing like 16th. But like there's like nights like Spet Holler had us and Kale Thomas have had nights at Attica
yeah,
earlier this year.
that was awesome. It was Cale Thomas, Cap Henry, and Caleb Henry,
Yeah.
and they had and Spithaller. They had amazing nights, like
yeah,
finishing in the top 10 of an outlaw show. And I don't care if there's three outlaws, like
yeah.
full-time outlaws, just finishing in the top 10 of the outlaw show is incredible.
Logan
Really.
Wagner too. He got fourth like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago,
At
and
high limit
high limit, I
race
think.
for
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Tusky. Well, and Danny Dietrich won the
Danny
Tusky
Dietrich
50.
won the Tusky
yeah,
50.
Yeah,
And Port is not Danny's best track by any means.
yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean it's awesome to see when that happens. Not want to say call it an upset, because if Danny Dietrich wins a feature, it's not an upset, but he wasn't who everybody was picking that
right.
And
night.
that wasn't the Tusky 50. I just realized it was Bob Weichert
It was the Bob
Memorial.
White. It was right,
Yeah,
but like,
sorry, the Tusky 50. I get excited for that.
yeah,
But you can even look at uh so the Outlaws have like 12 full-timers this year, which isn't
something like that. Yeah,
too far off high limit, but high limit it seems like they got unlimited provisionals, and you see cars that like you said the Vermeer 55
hmm,
car, and even like Zeb Wise in the Rudine car, and like Tanner Thorson and
yeah,
Brenham Crouch, like guys that they're in good equipment and can win like the outlaw level races, but they're not good enough to make the features all the time,
yeah,
where the all stars would have been perfect for them.
yeah.
And you,
I mean, you
but
saw that last year with
yeah,
Zeb Wise. I mean, he won. He won the title.
Yeah,
I think Courtney was ready to move up, and I mean, you see what he's done this year has gone
Yeah.
insane this year. So I think it was clear that he was ready to move up. But I think Zeb needed one more year. That Vermeer team, I think that that level that they were at was where they needed to be. They were winning races, being competitive. I think Wyndham needed a few more years before he went on that big of a schedule. Crouch, he won the RA. I think he was planning to go the All Star route, but with the elimination of that, it really affected him that way. But there was a lot of drivers I think that were going to do the All Stars this year that got kind of, I wouldn't say screwed over, but forced into a higher level situation that they wanted to, because a lot of them didn't want to go back down. Like Brenham didn't want to go back to the RA.
Mm-hmm.
He did well, but he didn't want to go back down. He wanted to move up. Zeb wanted to move up. So I mean, I get that.
I think
It-
it's the skill level is really hard, but I think the hardest thing for a lot of these teams like Crouch, even trying to think of some other guys, but anyways,
Bill
uh
Baylog.
yeah, I think
yeah.
it's super hard for those guys to be running on the East Coast and then 5 days later have to be the whole way out in California to run
Mhm.
races out there and then travel the whole way back. Like these are
Yeah.
teams that were running a regional series that it's like, okay, if I screw up my car, at least I have 3 or 4 days at home in between this race that I can
Mhm.
get it back together. But now it's
Yeah.
like if I screw up my car, we're driving the whole way to California, rebuilding the whole car there, hoping it's right with all the parts we have in the trailer, racing there on a full-time schedule, and then driving the whole way back to the East Coast to race another race. And it's just
Yeah.
like the it's they one don't like some of those guys don't have the engines that say like
Mhm.
Brad Sweet has. And it's like
Or
it's
if they or if they do, they have two of them where Brad has eight of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
Bill Baylog this
yeah.
year had to hop in Kevin Newton's car at Volusia because he blew two engines.
Mhm. But I
Like,
mean, look at how good Bill Baylog is. He's been
yeah,
doing really good, and it's
yeah,
awesome to see that. And I didn't get to talk to him, but I understand the thought process of what he did, because he was like, well, there's 18 high limit drivers, but there's only three full time outlaws. Oh, I'm gonna go outlaw racing and make a shit ton of
yeah,
money.
yeah,
Like, what I mean? If he finishes 15th every night, he's gonna make money on that, because of the outlaws pay so much for tow money and incentives just to stay on the tour.
yeah,
yeah,
Like, people don't understand that, and it's kept kind of a secret, but the outlaws give out a ton of money to their teams just to keep them on the tour,
yeah,
yeah.
which is
And like,
why Sides continues to keep doing it, even though his team doesn't have great finishes, or why Bill Rose keeps doing it, because he might not make a profit on the year, or he might make close to a profit on the year, but he keeps getting money to keep coming back.
right.
I'd keep coming back too.
yeah, and like Bill Baylog, he's been running so well this year that had he not had those blown engines and a couple other issues early in the season, he'd be higher up in points than what he is
Oh,
because
for sure.
he's had those great runs. And like you just like even like Landon Crawley in the sides car, he's had some good runs and stuff. Even Volusia was where he was really good at in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the year against like high limit guys too, because he had Courtney and Sweet and Zeb all there.
Oh yeah.
And it's just kind of, I feel like we're in a good spot with sprint car racing where there's a lot of good drivers
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of great opportunities to go out and race. And but with the all stars going away, I also think it takes away from the little guys because like Spit Holler said he was lining up a deal to run the all stars full time this year. Then they
Mm-hmm.
got bought. Logan McCandless was planning on running the all stars.
Yeah.
It's gone. The
Mm-hmm. And I think that would have
uh
been a great series for both those drivers. I really
yeah,
do. I don't know if Logan was going to plan on racing it or not, but it would have been a great series for just his team.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I mean, if you when he pulls in the pit area, I mean, he's the big team there.
yeah,
He's still a young driver. I think this is only his second year in a 410. So, and I mean, that does sometimes show, but I mean, that team is capable of winning. I mean, you saw it with Parker Price Miller.
Yeah.
that he won a couple features in that car, and it's a good car, great equipment, it's a good team. Just I think if once Logan gets more experience, or he decides to go back to crew chief and get someone with a little bit more experience, I think that's kind of heard that might be an outlaw team here in the future.
Yeah, he did kind of mention that was like in the plans,
Mhm.
and
And I think
he
that's
did
where
he
that
had
team
good speed at
belongs.
he had good speed at I-55 with against the Outlaws
Mhm.
the second night they were
Yeah,
there in the spring, and I mean he started second in the feature, and I think he could have done very well if it looked like Buddy kind of got bobbled up and moved up the track, and he moved up, and then next Logan just he was up there with the big dogs, and they were hungry, so and smelled
yeah,
blood, so
yeah. I think that's right. I do remember seeing that, and he's good. You know, some I saw in Speed Week that he struggled a couple nights, but those are tracks I'm pretty sure he might not have even raced at or been at.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have those sometimes, but I think that all-star level would have been good for him. I think I don't think they would have ran it, but Danny Sams, I mean, the
yeah.
kid is unreal right now, and I mean, he's one of my best friends right now, and um, I think if he would have done the All Stars, he would have been good for him. I don't know if he would have had the success like he had. He's 5 wins, I think, on the season.
Yeah,
Four, at least three
something
in.
like that.
I mean, he 3 wins in Ohio
In
Sprint
Speed
Speed
Week.
Week.
Yeah.
Speed Week. I mean, he got $10,000 win. I mean, that was huge for him. I mean, there's not a kid more excited about hitting the track every night, man. He is just he's if he's not working, he's just happy to be there.
Yeah, I've shot him I said congratulations on his first win of Ohio Speed Week, and then a couple days later I sent another one, and then a couple days later I sent another one, and he's been kind enough to like, respond, well, maybe not necessarily kind, but just be like probably who he is, just
Mhm.
send him back like thanks and
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
and like I would have tried to get him on, but I mean there was like three podcasts before Speed Week that had him on, and then there's been like five more since that I've had him on. And I'm like, I'm just gonna like wait until like it dies down a little bit and then get him on. So it probably doesn't
Yeah.
have any room in his schedule as is.
No, I mean he's pretty busy. I mean it's just him and his mom and dad, and it's awesome to see two parents give that so much for their child. I didn't say they gave it everything up, but they were giving it this year to see what they could do, and he made a name for himself, and there may or may not be some big teams eyeing his kid up, and I'm happy to see that for him because I I don't believe in the word deserve, but he's probably one of those people that does deserve a good opportunity.
Yeah, he just listening to like all the interviews he's done, it's like if this is a kid you can get behind,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's just he's like blown up this year, and it's amazing to see. And I think I heard, it might have been either the Quick Time podcast or Wing Nation. I think he said about like how they're like thinking of going running Outlaws next year, but like I don't know if he was just like how much that is true. Like he said it, but it's just like a lot of things can happen from now to
Oh yeah.
then, and
Yeah.
I mean, who, like, well, I never thought Robbie Price was going to get out of side 7S till the end of the year, and then he put a
Mhm.
16-year-old kid that had like one or two 410 starts in it, and so like you never know like what will happen, and uh,
Yeah.
it,
I think the smart thing for Danny right now is to think before he does. Because yes, everyone wants to go World of Outlaws racing. I would love to go World of Outlaws racing, but it's when he's right now he's winning features. It doesn't You got to be very picky what team he does because he could, say get in the Bill Rose 6 car, but is that car competitive?
yeah,
No, not really. I wouldn't get in a car that isn't competitive. I'd say for him, like a cool car for him to get in would be, that McCandless 29 or say that 11 Crouch car I think would be good opportunities for him.
Yeah, that Crouch 11 car. Jeez, that I
That
hate
car, that
that
was a
went
good
away.
car. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's still there.
it's just
I talked to Crouch about it, and it's still sitting there. It's ready to go. That trailer, truck, and trailer and hauler is ready to go. It's just they wanted to focus on Landon, or not Landon, but
Brenham.
Brenham this year, and it might come back next year. And who knows? Danny Sams might be driving it.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Um, do you know, going back to like going off of teams that kind of disappeared, but like going back with like to like kind of the all stars, like you had like the yellow number 97 car,
The ceiling racing, yeah,
yeah, ceiling, and it like kind of it's disappeared this year, and then a
yeah. I thought they would at least
couple,
be running, have someone,
yeah,
but I don't even think about anything about that team happened. Yeah, I wonder what happened to that team. That's a kind of a mystery.
yeah, and then the McGee uh the Sam McGee number 11 car a couple years ago
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
disappeared.
yeah. Hmm.
PPM was the last driver to drive it, and that
Yeah,
was a real good car,
it
and
was a good car, and I
it
think
just kind
I wouldn't say I think that kind of messed up Parker Price Miller a little bit. That was a good car, good equipment, a good team, and I think they were really gelling. And I think if he would have had, say, last year in that car, it would have changed his year completely, but it might have even brought him a couple wins
of, yeah,
or
uh,
a top five in points. I think he was definitely capable of that because is where he was in 2022. That I think that
Yeah.
would have really helped him out.
yeah, but
Well,
just kind of stinks to see teams leave. Sorry,
It's
Tim.
no,
expensive.
you're good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think we're at a really good point in racing now too. And even for our side is like the younger kids getting into these cars and driving their asses off like they are. Sorry, I know we're not supposed to swear on the podcast, but like Corey Day, for instance, the kid's he's an animal.
Oh,
Like,
he's oh my god. I didn't get to race with him very much in Outlaw Carts, but I do remember like seeing that kid and I'm like, man, that kid's good. He's on a box stock and I'm like, that kid's good.
yeah, and like I mean, he's good. Tanner Holmes, he's having somewhat of an off year, but I mean, when he was in the Shark car last year, he was doing pretty good, and
But I would say he's not I mean, he's having an off year, but he just picked up his first 410 win.
that is true. That is true.
a
yeah, yeah,
couple like a week ago. Like that's
I mean,
I'd like to see him better.
he was
Maybe
in the like runnings to win the other night, and then blew his right rear out. So who knows what could have happened there?
I would
But
have loved to have seen him win the Dirt Cup or be a little bit more competitive in that.
yeah,
I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. I lost my Flow subscription because I was really excited to watch it, but I missed out on it. But um, excited to see how his videos look like after that.
yeah. But
yeah,
Ryan Timms, super young. I mean, he's not crazy dominant in 410s right now, but for his age, he's doing great.
Yeah, and
Midget, yeah,
had a little bit of an off year too, but
yeah,
picked it up in the midget. Has done a little bit more midget stuff than last year.
yeah,
I
yeah,
and
think
then
he's a kid you got to watch out for. Emerson Axum, he just picked up his
yeah,
first
yeah,
motor win. He's a kid you got to watch out for.
Jason Persley,
Jason Persley, that's a kid you really need to watch out
yeah.
for.
I
That kid
mean,
is, I mean, I would say he's Corey Day level yet, but
he's
he's going to be the next USAC guy.
like he won his first 410 race, and then like a couple weeks later wins his first Silver Crown race,
Mhm.
and he has like a USAC sprint car race when somewhere in between there too.
Yeah, I mean, he won midget week.
Yeah,
yeah,
You know what I mean? And it's hard to beat those KKM cars and those CB industry cars,
yeah.
yeah,
and he beat them all.
yeah.
I think he is in a CB Industries car though
Oh,
this
I
year.
think he was. Yeah, he was in
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
but like still like that CB Industries compared to KKM, that's like it doesn't seem like a big gap, but I feel like there is a decent sized gap between the two. At
There,
least maybe it's because KKM has so many that cars that it
that
seems
is, I
like it.
think that is my opinion that there's more KKM cars, but I think what's different about CB Industries is their drivers are more they are based on talent than pocketbook. So
Yeah.
you've seen some incredible drivers that have had smaller budgets race that team. Like Kaylee Bryson was on that team for a little bit, and she doesn't have the budget like a Taylor Reimer does, but she's got the more talent.
Yeah.
And I mean, and she put again another driver to watch out for. She's winning everything right now.
Yeah. And then personally, I think he was at KKM and then went to
Mhm.
CB Industries. But I mean, there has been some guys that might not have necessarily had the pocketbook that have raced at KKM, like Tanner Thorson and I
Mhm.
think C Bell. He
Oh,
didn't have
CBL,
it,
man, he
like,
was.
yeah, it all started with like his relationship with Rick Forkel and stuff over
Mhm.
there in Ohio, and that's how he got the KKM ride. And it's just
Yeah,
like I don't know.
uh, Rick Ferkel's done a lot for a lot of drivers. He did a lot for PPM or Parker Price Miller,
Yeah,
and then Bell and countless many other drivers.
yeah,
Yeah. I think going back to what I was originally going for. So Corey Day, for instance, I know Kyle Larson, I don't know if he said it on Twitter or where he said it, but I know he mentioned that like it was about a month ago that Corey Day was doing just as good as him, if not better.
Mm.
And that was at that point. I mean, Kyle Larson's still dominant. You can watch.
Oh yeah.
He can start in 25th and end up in first if he has enough cautions. So,
Mhm.
or maybe not even enough
Not
cautions.
even
But
cautions.
I think guys like that are really helping the younger guys grow in the sport, though, because they have the backing of like some of the top guys. I mean, like we were talking before, the older guys that are taking photos and stuff are part of the exact same generation of the older guys that are still driving and cannot stand the younger guys being in cars.
Mhm.
And I think it's so helpful for guys like Larson and stuff to just come out and say, like, yeah, Corey Day is equally as good as I was at his age, and he's equally as good as I am right now.
Yeah.
And I think
I mean, he's beat
that's,
Larson a couple
oh,
times.
yeah,
yeah,
that's what's going to help grow uh, the racing and the media side in our sake, too. We just
Mhm.
have to get those guys in, the guys that already have the ins in the track need to go to the promoters, go to the GMs, go to the owners, be like, these are the guys you need to get in, and these are the guys you need to get out. And that's not me saying anything bad against the older guys that are taking photos and
No.
stuff, but
No.
there's got to be a time where we grow past that generation and move in
Mhm.
the new guys that are on social media, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, that are pushing out content for tracks, people, promoters, owners, media guys,
Oh yeah.
car owners, anything.
And the back right on there. I got it was the Speed Week show at Fremont. I got cussed out by one of the older track photographers, and still not sure why. Probably maybe he felt a little threatened. But just cussed me out for no reason. I don't know. Would love to know why, but
Yeah.
I don't. I'm. If you talk to me, you'll know I'm one of the most respectful people out there, and I'm always helping people out. I missed out on some opportunities because I was helping a newbie with their camera. I'm like, man, that was he just did a massive wheelie. I missed out on that. Oh man, but I was helping this, kid with the KS camera settings. Like I don't,
Yeah.
and I'll like with you guys, I'm like, if you guys have any camera questions, just text me.
Yeah.
I'll
yeah,
help you out as absolutely much as I can.
yeah. I've been pretty lucky that everybody, all the like the photographers that I've interacted with, they've been very kind and accepting and like I don't. I've been lucky, I guess, that I haven't gone through what you've gone through, and I think it's just a testament to like the photographers I've interacted with, like their type of character, and like from you to Rick Rare to Jim Ballantyne, Paul Arch, like
Oh, Paul's a man. He's my
he's a
man.
legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend. Um, Brandon Goodman and Scott Goodman,
Yeah, they're
like
awesome people. They were
yeah,
some of the first people I met. Was Brandon was one of the first people, and one of my first photographer friends.
Yeah. And I
yeah,
mean, the great thing about those guys too is they're all just like super supporting about it. It's not like, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all stepping on each other's toes without saying it, but if I mean those guys, it's like, yeah, I'll give you. I'm not going to give you my exact settings, but I'll help you along the way.
Mhm.
And
Just, yeah,
yeah,
and it's and I love Jim. He's one of those older guys that sometimes gets in the way a little bit. Or at least to where I'm at right now, with my skill level. But there's some great people that I've met along the way. My friend Nate from Butler, he's awesome. Another friend of mine, Skid Picks, again from like Michigan area. They're awesome people. I've met some of the biggest names, and they're every everyone are good people. Some of the older people aren't the nicest, which kind of sucks. But you know, we all have to be there. And we all have to support each other, because if we don't support each other, that means dirt racing loses a fan.
Yeah.
And that's not good. It's such a small community. It's a big community, but really it's really small.
Yeah. Like Dirt Tracker, Justin Fiedler from Dirt Tracker, he says a rising tide raises all ships, and
Mm-hmm.
that like it's like we're just all trying to build the sport we love,
Yeah.
and we're not trying to, well, most of us aren't trying to screw over somebody else,
No.
or and like it's like we want them, we want all want to somehow make a living out
Mm-hmm.
of this, or if we don't, we want to continue doing this amazing hobby that we do, and we
100%.
need each other to help raise it to a different level and keep improving
Yeah.
everything.
And like for a while it was hard for me to find a price for the stuff, because I was like, if I take $50 from this driver, that's a couple jugs of fuel I just took out of his pocket. I don't want to do that, but one, I have to make some money out of this. So I was like, it's a burning hole and I can't continue to keep doing it. But they also what they get out of it too. You know,
Yeah.
they might get a couple fans come buy a couple t-shirts, boom. You know, like the great video, an example of this is that video of Brandon Spithaler doing the wheelie at Fremont, or where he jumped the cushion to Fremont. It went absolutely viral. And he's got people at work that don't even like racing. Like, hey man, can I buy a t-shirt?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. And if you wish he had a little bit more social media presence, because that would have grown him as a driver huge, because it has 250,000 views on TikTok and 100,000 views on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge. He probably could have sold a couple t-shirts, man. That's bam, that's more money back in his pocket.
Yeah. I
And some
mean,
drivers
Even
some drivers get it, some drivers don't. Some drivers really get it and are in a position to pay for it yet. But I'm always trying to help out the little guy a little bit. A couple free photos here, maybe a couple free videos here. Because you have to build a brand, you have to build a name, but you have to build a driver too, because the drivers at the end of the day is going to pay me.
yeah.
So I have to help him out as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you $50 helps you, and it also helps everyone else who's in the industry, because I mean, there's probably guys charging $10 per video, and it's like those guys, I mean, some of them don't have media credentials.
Oh yeah.
All of them are driving to the track. So you're losing out either way. Most of them probably have $1,500 cameras with lenses and everything else included.
And I mean, my setup is $1,500, but that's on the budget ends. Most of these guys
Yeah,
are
huge money.
yeah,
you're talking $3,000, $3,000 for a camera body,
Yeah,
2,000 for a lens, and then they have another lens that's another $1,000, another lens that's $4,000. I got a
yeah,
friend that has a 400 millimeter 2.8. The lens is almost $8,000. Like, holy
insane.
crap! Like,
But
my stuff is very budget, like
yeah,
very budget. Like, my camera, the retail price for my camera is usually used $1,100.
yeah,
I bought it for 9. Boom, got a deal. My lens usually goes for $1,500. I got it for 8 because I use an adapter because it's not the right lens.
yeah.
Like, I'm on a very tight budget. My stuff looks professional, but I'm on a very tight budget.
I mean, it's money isn't always the answer, and
Mm-mm.
that's like computers and stuff. You need good computers to edit, but the
And I
thing
have that
is,
problem.
like, I mean, right now, I'm not like an Apple fanboy or anything, but you can go out and buy a MacBook Air with the M chips or whatever they have, and that computer will probably do everything you need as long as you're not rendering like 8K footage, which
Yeah.
no one in dirt racing is rendering 8K
No,
footage.
I could shoot at 4K and I won't
Yeah,
because I can't post at 4K. So why is the point of me shooting at 4K?
yeah. But I mean,
You
like
know,
you
my
you
computer is a retired refurbished school computer.
yeah,
It has a processing power of a peanut, and
yeah,
I'm making it work because, or my laptop is a Microsoft Surface. It's
yeah,
try to edit video on a Microsoft Surface is impossible.
right.
It takes me 2 hours just because it takes forever to load. So like if I had a MacBook, man, my life would be 100 times easier. But that's $2,000 that I don't have.
Yeah. But I mean, like guys guys like ourselves are getting away with equipment that's not 10 grand, and you can make something that's $800 look as good as it will at 10 grand. It's going to be harder, but
Mhm.
you can do it. And
It's just like driving, just like the
yeah,
drivers that do it on a lower
Yeah.
budget. They learn so much to where they when they get that budget, they're like, "Whoa, this stuff's so much easier."
yep,
Like the camera I had before this one was an A7 II, and that was 8 years old, which
yeah,
is like, oh, 8 years old. That's not old, but when it comes to camera technology, it's old.
yeah,
So when I made a step to an A7 III, I was like, oh my God, this is so much easier. My life is so much easier than it used to be.
yep,
And now it's even different than before. Like if
yep,
I were to upgrade a camera, I'd be like, this is so much easier. But
right.
it's one of those things.
Well,
Yeah.
Colton, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Uh, no, what were you gonna say? Because I didn't know where I was going with what
Well,
I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna
say.
ask if you were ready for some rapid fire questions.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. Well, they're not okay. Let's. They're not very rapid. It's just I don't know, about five or so questions
Yeah,
that we're gonna ask at the end of each episode.
Oh,
Actually, real quick, I want to say ask. So, what made you decide to pick up a camera though? We didn't get into that part. Like,
Um, I guess my plan was to pick up a steering wheel. I was gonna buy one of those Rush sprint cars that I got to drive a few, and they're the worst driving race car ever made. They're horrible to drive. They do not drive like a sprint car at all. But my plan was to get one of those, but ended up going to Eldora for the King's Royal and shot a really cool iPhone video under snuck it under a fence just like you guys, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm gonna do it. So
yeah,
I thought I was going to be the only person in the world ever doing it. And then I realized that it's a large community. And I was like, wait a minute. Whoa, okay. But, I kept growing, kept doing it. And I grew really big last year and climbing again this year. It sucks to have to restart, but this opportunity has brought more stuff my way than I would have thought. So that's awesome. You know,
yeah,
yeah, I got hooked at Sharon standing in turn three, especially after Henry Malquit almost thought he was gonna go through the fence right at me. So I'm like, that was that was a little scary.
that was
I'm
some of
gonna
my
go stand
footage.
up there again.
Some of my favorite footage that I got last year was shooting. I think through that hole that I showed you on that backstretch. I mean, the cars are coming right at you, and it's just like, whoa, and you do that stuff at Eldora, and like I got the opportunity to shoot through a photo hole last year, and the wings, the way they work, they're trying to drag you out of the photo hole in the corners. So like if you stand at the fence at Eldora, you actually get sucked towards the fence.
that's crazy.
It's an unreal feeling that you just have to experience. But I love the sport and I want to grow the sport and grow everything about the sport. And it's can't wait to continue to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
not rapid fire questions, but quick questions. Who would be someone, oh, how do I want to word this? Sorry, let me rephrase this question. Who is someone you would go to dinner with? It could be anyone, not even in the racing scene. And where would you go?
Kaylee Bryson. Um, where though? Ooh, that's a good question on where. Hmm. God.
Might be have to be better than like Applebee's or
Oh, for
McDonald's.
her, for sure. For sure. She is not a Texas Roadhouse girl. But although she might be. She might be.
She might be a Sheets gas station
There it
type,
is.
you
There
know,
it is.
with
Kaylee,
racing.
there we go. Kaylee Bryson after a long night of racing out of Sheets. There we go. That's that right there. For sure.
Um, so what's your favorite food and favorite place to eat?
Oh, favorite food. Probably steak in Texas Roadhouse.
You're
Okay.
this. Didn't Jarrett say that last week?
No, he
Jarrett's
said tacos.
okay.
Oh no, but no, he
Oh
did say Texas Roadhouse. He said
no. Can I
his
change my
favorite
answer?
food is his favorite food is tacos, and his favorite place to eat is Texas Roadhouse.
Ooh, can I change my answer?
Yeah, you can change it.
All right, I'm gonna go carne asada fries at Filiberto's.
I have
It's
no idea
That's
what that is.
it's like
it
a
sounds
Mexican
good.
food. It's a Mexican food chain at like in the Arizona, California area.
Okay.
Okay. So when we go to uh oh shoot, what is it called? But out to Chico at Silver Dollar for their big race someday
They
for
might not have it out. I don't know if they're out there or
oh
not, but I know they're in
well
Phoenix. It's basically it's like a more Mexican Taco Bell. Is basically what it is.
You mean so an actual Mexican Taco Bell?
Yes, it is an actual Mexican Taco Bell.
Um, so this is like a two-part question because I didn't realize you raced before. So what is your I know you haven't raced in a while, so what is your tool that you can't live without when you're racing? And I'm gonna ask that same question for when you're doing media stuff.
Tool.
Yeah.
7/16 wrench.
Okay.
And then something I can't live without, a camera battery. Godly
Yeah.
that or an SD card. That's yeah, I can't live without one of those.
yeah, forget the actual
Or my camera
camera.
cage. Or my camera cage. Man, that's the best thing I've ever had. You know, fortunately I haven't ever dropped my camera, but if I do, I'm glad I have that camera cage.
Right. Colton.
Oh, I forgot my question for a second. So it's like two questions in one. Your favorite track that you've been to, and then your number one bucket list track.
I think Lincoln was really cool for the icebreaker. That was probably of course Eldora. Eldora's been my favorite track since I played the World 2002 World of Outlaws game. That was my favorite track because that's the only track I was ever good at. So going there was a bucket list thing. That would have been my bucket list track for sure. Now I don't know. Probably Husitz would be my bucket list track.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Husitz might be it. Especially if we're talking dirt tracks. Um, and one of my favorite tracks had to be Millstream. I still love Millstream, man. That track was awesome. Um, the, that was their first night in Open 2016. So there was a lot of stuff they had to work out, but what they did was awesome. I mean, there was, I think, 20 porta potties in the pits. Uh, um, they had deep fried Oreos in the pits. They had like food trucks out in the pits. I mean, like the things that they were doing were shit stuff that every track should do. I mean, there
Yeah.
was thousands of people there. The lighting was amazing. The track was pretty good for being their first night ever, you know, or
Yeah.
since 2016. But I think if that track had some really good clay on it, man, that was awesome. I mean, the walls were cool. The lighting was, I can't get over the lighting. The lighting was cool. The fact that they have a midget track on the inside, I think that was just an awesome facility that is going to get better over the next couple of years. And I cannot wait because that's going to be, I think it might be a premier place here in the near future.
Yeah. So are you aware of what Little Tree air refresheners are?
Like the little trees that you hang in your mirror.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not like big on them.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask you that question then.
I don't know where that came from, and I don't know if
It's
someone.
if whatever it is, it's got to be black ice, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
You're not cool if you don't have black ice. But mine right now is the Mob Wash, the little
Okay.
free ones you get at Mob Wash.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have those out where you guys are, but that's free air freshener. That's what I have in my car. I got like 30 of them hanging from my mirror.
Um, so I guess this will be my last question. Have you ever been to a Wawa?
Sheets is better than Wawa.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
I
Sheets is
never
better than
even
Wawa.
been to Wawa.
I
Here.
got family that lives out in New Jersey, and I think I've ate Wawa once, but like Sheets is better than Wawa.
Cool. Colton, any last questions?
Um, what what's the next track you're gonna be at?
Oh, luckily I have my calendar right here next to me.
Actually, give me the next 2 weeks, because this will, or not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. So the 4th of July weekend, because we'll drop this on Monday the 1st.
Okay. So I'll give you the next couple weeks. Looks like I'm gonna have either Boss at Hilltop, the
Okay.
Boss non-wing series at Hilltop, or Attica going to Attica for the AFCS show. Or no, it's not an AFCS show. I think it's just a regular Attica show. And then definitely be at Fremont on Saturday.
Okay.
That's awesome. They have four. I think it's a full non-wing show, so it's 410s, 305s, and D2 midgets, Midwest D2 midgets,
That's
or Thunder
awesome.
midgets. That's awesome. They put on a
Yeah.
pretty good show. I definitely go out there and support them if you guys get out. And then after that, I'll be at the third. I'll be at Waynesfield. Looks like I'll be for the Jack Hewitt Memorial. I think it's a memorial. I'm not sure, but the Jack Hewitt race there. It's Boss, non-wing, and D2 midgets again. And then looks like it'll be Friday, Saturday at Wayne County on the 5th and 6th. They just announced that like a
Yeah.
couple days ago that they're going to do that. And then I got Sharon 2 nights, 12th and 13th, the late model show,
Okay.
the World of Outlaw Super Late Model show. And
Yeah.
then after that, it's the 16th through the 20th, the King's Royal Week with the Brad Doty on the 16th, and then the King's Royal after that. And that's my next couple weeks.
Are you going to the Silver Cup on the at Lernerville the
Yeah,
23rd?
yeah, I'll definitely be
Okay.
there.
We'll
And
see
then
you there then.
I might
We'll
try
be
to
there.
sneak out to BAPS the next day. We'll see. That'd be pretty cool. And then maybe stay out that way and do the the the
I think they're like at like Williams
Williams
Grove.
Grove race. Yeah, for the
Yeah.
it's not the Nittany Showdown. It's the other one, the National Open. I think maybe. Is
No, I
it?
think that's in the fall. I forget the Summer Nationals or something. More,
Oh yeah. It's the
yeah,
PA Summer Nationals. Something like
or
that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what it is. The
something like
Summer
that.
Nationals. Yeah. Or if I don't go out to Williams Grove, I'll do a AFCS show, and then it's yeah. I think my first off week is going to be Knoxville Nationals week, and I might actually end up having to go to Knoxville to see.
I like how you say I might end up having to go to Knoxville.
I'm like,
I don't. I'm not excited. I mean, I'm excited to go. I think Knoxville's not one of my favorite tracks at all. I don't like that kind of style of racing, but I think it's one of those tracks you have to go to, and I think the Knoxville's one you have to go to. So
Yeah.
it'd be cool. Maybe doing something with Bryce Lucius. That'd be pretty cool if we get the opportunity.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
yeah, we'll see you at the Silver Cup then.
Awesome. Hopefully, see you guys before then. But
Yeah, we'll be around. So at this point in the episode, would you like to shout out yourself, your media company, and anything else? Anyone who supports you?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd like to shout out if you see on the tag right here, Angry Duck Media is all of my social media platforms. I should have a YouTube. There's a YouTube channel. There's nothing up there yet, but I should hopefully have some stuff coming soon for that. I'll start a Twitter page. It's because it's called Twitter. It'll always be Twitter. I need to start that. I haven't done that one yet, but TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, please go like, follow, share. That helps me out a ton. Um, and then like to kind of explain what Angry Duck's graphics is and Shop Angry Duck. It's a really cool thing that Kurt's doing right now. Not a lot of people are doing it. I mean, people are doing t-shirts and graphics, and I mean he does t-shirts. He's doing fire suits. Not a lot of people are doing fire suits right now. He's doing custom made fire suits, and the price point is unbelievable. I mean, if you get a custom suit for like K1, that's $1,600, but Kurt's doing it at like $800 for a custom fire suit. I mean, that's unbelievable. Crew shirts are one of his big things. T-shirts, hats, hoodies. I mean, you name it, he does it. Putting vinyl on little die-cast cars. I saw him doing that for the late models. That was some pretty cool stuff. And then how his kind of stuff works is cool for the smaller drivers, I think. So once you do the design and you get your t-shirt design, you don't have to order $10,000 worth of shirts. You can order 2 shirts if you want. You can order 1 shirt. You don't have to order any shirts. What's cool is you'll get a page on his website, Shop Angry Duck with the hat. You go on there and you don't have to sell, and you can direct people to your page on his website, and people can buy from there. So you don't have to stock shirts. You don't have to hold inventory. You don't have to have the room taken up in your house, and you get a certain amount off of every shirt sold. So you're still getting the money from your t-shirts, but you don't have to have the overhead, which is awesome. And I think it's really, really cool for these local drivers that one can't spend $10,000 worth of shirts, don't have the place for $10,000 worth of shirts, or the ability to sell $10,000 worth of shirts at the racetrack.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like similar to drop shipping, but the big difference is you're helping out not a big corporation. You're helping out just like you're doing business with a guy just like you.
I mean, he does it out of his basement. And you're like, well, I don't know if I want to do work out of his basement, but
his work looks good.
Oh,
I've seen his page and it looks good.
It's awesome, and he's huge on the pulling game. So if you're like, well, I don't know if I want to work with someone that may not really have the name, but he's got the name in the pulling industry, and he's slowly growing in the dirt racing world. I'm helping a little bit with trying to market that a little bit more. And he's not going to be a Kane screen printing, but not everyone can afford Kane screen printing either.
Yep.
But he also does wraps. So there's some late model guys and sprint car guys that do a whole car to wrap design from him, and it's saving them money.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me. Hopefully I can come on again here.
Yeah, for sure.
If you guys are ever struggling for a guest, just call me and I'll be on with 10 minutes notice.
I mean, awesome. With how like most of the episode was us just talking about sprint car racing, so I feel like we could have you on like almost every week, probably to talk sprint car racing.
And I shoot late models too, guys. Drivers out there, if you guys listen, I do shoot late models and modifieds.
Do you shoot mini stocks?
Or bang bangs?
No,
as I've heard them called, bang bangs.
Oh god, there's called a million different things, and I think I've taken like 10 photos, and that was because one of my friends is driving, and I was like, here's a couple. I gave her a couple photos because
You felt bad.
Yeah, I felt
bad. You're like, give me $100 for making me take those photos.
Oh, god, it's $1,000. You want to hire me to do a mini stock video? $1,000, and I'll do it.
You can market that really well. You could be like, your cars sound like shit, you guys drive like shit, but I can make you look really good.
I'd love to build one.
Yeah.
I would love to cheat as much as I would cheat on everything.
They probably don't tech them very often.
Oh, probably not. But I would have. I'd try to sneak a V8 if I could. Custom built coilovers and a V8 if I could find it.
We're gonna be good friends because I was thinking sneaking the V8 into it.
Yeah, I would spend $100,000 on building a mini stock just because I want to cheat so bad.
Oh,
You know,
man.
custom built Honda motor. You know,
Put some
1,000
nitrous
horse,
in there.
1,000 horsepower nitrous Honda motor with custom factory cane shocks,
Yeah, you
adjustable coilovers with weight
go
jackers in the rear.
put the turbos up underneath the transmission so no one
Yeah, you
sees
go.
them.
Yeah, yep. Have to do an extra long exhaust to hide the turbo noises.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Uh,
I would love mini stock so much better if they had a freaking exhaust on them.
I
If they made,
100% agree.
if they made it mandatory to have a full length exhaust with a muffler, I would enjoy it a hell of a lot more.
You know, I know we're trying to end this, but my favorite part of mini stocks is when they're going down the straightaways and they just like don't know how to shift gears, and it's like, yeah, let's bang off of the rev limiter. Let's bang at 9,000 RPM with no muffler, no exhaust, and just kill your eardrums. It's the
Oh,
worst noise in the world.
I like how they slow down at the end of the corner
Oh
or
yeah,
at the end of the straightaway. I'm like, why are you slowing down? Just foot to the floor and just turn the car. Just
yeah.
turn it.
I might be subconsciously a fan of them because I've been to 2 races within the past year that there's been 50 of them because it was
Oh,
2,500 to win.
oh my
And
god.
you were at the one at
People,
Pittsburgh too.
oh my god, there were so many of them. I'm so glad they're like, no, you guys, you're done. For scrapping your feature, we're done.
I
Because
think
I was there at 12 o'clock, I think, that day, and I didn't
yeah.
get home until 12 o'clock. And I was like,
Uh,
this is a long night.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
there at like 11 something and I didn't get back home till like 11:20, 11:30. It was horrendous.
That was horrible.
I did stop at Sheets to get food.
You have to stop at Sheets.
Yeah.
I figured it out now that I have the Sheets like on my way home. Like I figured out like what the address is. So like now I can order food. Like I'm at the track, I can order food. I'm like, I'll be at there around 10:30. So when I'm pulling in at 10:30, I'm like, my food's already ready.
That's the way to do it.
That is the
Yeah.
way to do it.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
thanks again for coming
yeah,
on.
thanks.
Thank you guys for having me. I cannot like hopefully we get to do this again, like I said, again, because this was enjoyable.
For sure.
Maybe I'll be a regular guest
Hey,
or
Yeah.
a guest host.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I was thinking. I
yeah.
was like, oh, if we ever need like another get or another host, I mean,
That would be
we're
awesome. Yeah. Yeah, let's line that up for the future.
yeah.
Maybe I can get Jenny Sims on and we'll do a guest.
Yeah, that'd be
Maybe I'll
awesome.
guest host that.
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool guys. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Thanks.
Have a good rest of your night.
You too.
That was a great episode with Joe from Angry Duck Media. We really appreciate him coming on, and we can't wait to have him on again. And go follow his stuff, and go. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. And we're on all the social medias, so go give us a follow.
Yeah.
And
If you're listening to us on Apple Music, Spotify, or YouTube, please subscribe. The YouTube algorithm, the algorithm for Spotify and Apple Music is also weird in the way it works. And the more subscribers we get, the easier content gets pushed out to the rest of the world. Even if you're not a regular listener, just take the time out of your day to at least give us a like. And if you're feeling kind enough, subscribe too.
yeah, it'll help us continue to grow, and the more we grow, the more guests we can get on, the more consistent we can get, and the more content we can create. But other than that, just get out there and get to a dirt track.